How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another SkillCapped video. Today, we've got you guys covered with the 11.15 mid-patch tier list update thanks to the help of our challenger players and analyzing all the most recent data. Just a heads up, we'll be holding off on rating Uxin until next patch as we want to gather more information on the pick to give you guys the most accurate rating possible. Just before we get into it, be sure to check out SkillCapped if you want to truly get better at League of Legends. We're the only service that offers a money-back guarantee if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service. We do this because our service really does work, and if it doesn't work for you, you shouldn't pay. Learn more at the end of this video or click the link in the description for a special discount. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Nerfs to Aurelia have balanced her out quite nicely as she remains a strong top lane pick with a little more counterplay. Our analysts are on the fence between A and S tier as for her rating on the tier list, so we'll keep her in S for now. If you can pilot Aurelia well, she's one of the most lethal top laners you can play for 11.15. Lane Viego is really feeling the effects of his nerf. Q base damage was reduced and so was Q healing against marked minions. Jungle Viego is still completely viable, but we definitely recommend staying away from top lane Viego in 11.15. We'll be dropping Viego down into C tier for the mid-patch update. So the top lane tier list ends up pretty similar to where we had it in our pre-patch update. Tom, Camille, and Set are your most dominant picks you should be spamming if left open. Even more so for Tahm Kench, as he's completely nuts now after his buffs, is very simple to play, and does extremely well against the most played meta top laners. Kennen and Mordekaiser are both pretty solid A tier picks now after their buffs. Nothing too special, but in good enough spots to where they're worth picking up again. For the first time in a long time, we don't have Wukong in OP tier as a result of his nerf. However, he only drops down to S and remains a very strong option. If you're in need of a good answer to Aurelia and Set, Trundle is super underrated right now. We'll go more in depth on Trundle's strength in our off-meta picks video tomorrow as he takes home a respectable A tier position. The best low elo picks to climb the fastest are Tom, Yorick, and Garen, while you'll get good use out of your ban on one of Set, Aurelia, or Tom. Taking a look at the jungle, we'll be shifting Shyvana up one tier due to her buffs. Q cooldown and AP ratio were both changed and have led to Shiv seeing more success, especially in the lower ranks. Power farming is Shyvana's specialty, so the Q cooldown buff is perfect in allowing her to mow through a full clear. There are many other junglers that still outshine Shyvana, but she'll be placed in A tier for 11.15. If you take the time to learn Nidalee, she's an exceptional carry pick after her buffs this patch. Early game snowball power is much stronger due to the extra health, which provides you with more potency in those skirmishes. Just like Shyvana, there are many better options above her, but we are starting to lean towards a much more balanced jungle meta. A tier is where Nidalee slots in for 11.15. If you enjoyed playing Rumble Jungle before he was obliterated by the W nerf a few patches back, he's in a much better state for 11.15. All the bug fixes combined have propelled the fire-spitting Yordle back into a B tier position on our tier list. Alright, the complete jungle tier list consists of Nocturne and Xin Zhao as the two OP picks of the patch. Despite the Viego Q nerf, it's proving to be rather negligible, so he reclaims his S tier spot for mid-patch. Lilia is quite the sleeper pick at the moment to keep your eye on. There's a new build going around we will be sharing with you guys tomorrow that's giving her more power, so watch out for that. A tier is jam-packed right now with so many good options. Nidalee, Shyvana, Graves, Kindred, Hecarim, Rek'Sai, the list just goes on and on as the junglers who have been buffed recently. Riot's done a pretty decent job at keeping them around similar power levels, which is why you see so many of them in A tier. Our top 3 recommendations for low elo include Warwick, Rammus, and Fiddlesticks. Noxian and Lee Sin are the 3 junglers we'd have pinned at the top of your ban list. Despite the compensation buff Sylas received to his Q, nerf to W has impacted him quite negatively throughout 11.15, so we'll be shifting him down the tier list. The healing wasn't reduced too drastically on Sylas W, but the fact you max the spell first and can reduce it to such a short cooldown means the nerf adds up quickly in an extended fight. Your priority can shift onto other mid lane picks now as Sylas finds a spot in our S tier. Cassio is back in a great state after the buff to her E. More all-in potential and skirmish power is great for Cass and translates very well into solo queue. Cass is one of the better mids you can play into Sylas right now, so if you're looking for a good counter, spending the time on Cassio is very worthwhile. S tier is where Cassiopeia lands on the tier list for 11.15. With Sylas dropping out of OP tier, we are making a few adjustments, which include moving Zed and LeBlanc up to join Cat as the premier carry picks of the patch. Kassadin is another champ we're really high on at the moment, who's on the verge of OP tier. The Rumble bug fixes have left him in an amazing spot for mid lane, so don't be sleeping on him if you enjoy those high impact snowbally mids. Despite the Syndra buffs, she continues to struggle mightily at finding a place in the meta. We were optimistic the buffs would turn her into a B tier pick, but that just hasn't been the outcome so far. Most picked solo queue mids like Cat, Yasuo, and Zed are very difficult to deal with right now. Unless you're an advanced Syndra player with a ton of games, there are many better options across the board. Garen, Malz, and Annie continue to be who we rate as the highest for low elo. Katarina, Kassadin, and Zed are all very good ban options. Heading down to the bot lane, Ashe has been the biggest riser of the past few patches. New Korean build that we just featured, which revolves around a Wit's End rush into Shield Bow and Rage Blade, has turned her into a force to be reckoned with. We've noted in our previous videos that Wit's End is insanely cost efficient if the enemy team has a few AP threats. This is why you're seeing it not only on Ashe, but so many other champions as of recent. You're super tanky with this build and can still deal immense DPS. Add on the pick power from Ashe ultimate, and she's a very consistent hard carry marksman for 11.15. Ashe will hawkshot from S into OP for mid-patch. Even though Xayah still falls below most of the other marksmen in strength, she's back in a playable state. Ultimate buffs are fantastic and give Xayah more frequent windows of being able to play more aggressively. Xayah will find a place in our B tier as an average solo queue pickup. For a quick rundown of our ADC tier list, we have Ashe joining Ziggs and Kog'Maw as the OP picks. We doubt Riot leaves Ziggs in this state for much longer, so if you want to grab some free elo down in the bot lane, take advantage while you can. Aphelios and Caitlyn have shot up in strength over the past while due to buffs and both find a spot in A tier. Lucian and Kalista are two of the only marksmen who haven't been buffed or nerfed recently, so they continue to struggle at the bottom of our tier list. Best bot lane champs to climb low elo are Ziggs, MF, and Sivir, while Ziggs, Ashe, or Vayne are all worth a ban right now. One of the biggest winners down in the support role for 11.15 was Rell. W buff has propelled her back up the tier list and is moving up even further for our mid-patch update. 2 seconds off W is massive and can make a huge difference in skirmishes. We had moved Rell from B into A for pre-patch and will shift her one more tier as she finds a spot in S. Blitz was the other aggro support buff this patch, and he's completely decimating the meta like we expected. The Q base damage buff was really all he needed, as Riot went a little overboard in buffing his base armor and AP ratio on Q. The shield busting mechanic built into Blitz's ultimate makes him even stronger for the current meta. With Karma, Lulu, and Yuumi being spammed in solo queue, everything is trending in Blitzcrank's favor. This should go without saying, but Blitz is one of the OP supports of 11.15. Alright guys, to round the video out, let's have a look at the support tier list. Blitz and Lulu are the two supports our analysts rate as the must-pick or bans of the patch. Thresh is still holding on to S tier by a thread after his nerf. It just goes to show how impactful the champion can be, as Thresh has been nerfed about 5 different times in the past couple patches and continues to outperform the rest of the competition. Top low elo support picks are Brand, Leona, and Zyra. The best bans are Leona, Blitzcrank, and Lulu. Alright guys, before we wrap this up, let's tell you all a little bit more about SkillCapped. So, we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week with over 1,600 guides curated into over 100 courses. No one can compare. We've also sent Challenger players into Elo Hell 629 times and counting, where they commentate how to carry live. They also respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $4.99 a month if you're serious about improving. So there you have it guys, that's how the meta is shaping out midway through 11.15. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.